Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Think Global Podcast. I am your host, International Seth, and today's date is February 10th, 2021. Today is going to be a West Coast extravaganza. I myself in the hometown of 206, and my special guest over here from the 619, that's San Diego to be exact, Arthur Bryant's in the house. Thank you for coming on the show, Arthur.
Absolutely, Jay, for sure. Good to see you, man. Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here, man. Just to, grace your platform one time. I appreciate you having me, dog.
Hey, man, really good to see you. We got to hold it down for the West, man. Speaking of that, did you see the Super Bowl?
I did watch the Super Bowl, actually, and it didn't really have the Super Bowl feel to it. You know what I mean? But I did watch it, and, it could have went either way.
Man? Yeah. I mean, I always thought that for sure. Like, I didn't have a doubt in my mind that Brady wouldn't pull it out. You know what I'm saying? But it was just funny, that they were the underdog going into like that. So.
Yeah. I expected way more of a shootout, though. Honestly, you know what I mean. I think the Chiefs came up short on just like completing plays. It would have made it more of a level game, man. They had firepower, but they just couldn't connect.
Yeah. So life lesson, man. Shout out to all the underdogs who are got their back against the wall. And shout out to all the retail investors who are making the hedge funds come up a couple of $1 billion shorts as an underdog as well.
Thank you.
You know what I'm
saying? Thank you. The little guy is alive.
Yeah. So we're going to get into it, man. Welcome, man, again, and thank you for coming on the show. We got a segment that we have all of our guests do. It's called World Call, and that's where we give our guests 10 seconds to name off some of the countries you visited. So we're going to put you on the World Call right now. We're going to put Arthur Bryant on the World Call. Go!
Mexico, all up and through there for sure. Doha, Qatar. Istanbul, Turkey. Where else? You name it. Dubai. Okay, Dubai, however you pronounce that. I've been there. Yeah, across that Gulf on that plane, man. It was all good for me. World Call, and I ain't done yet.
What's up? So you see my man, he touched down in a couple of countries, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, straight from, and you're from San Diego. Shout out to the 619 and all the people there. It's a beautiful city. I've been there a couple of times. But you've been overseas for a few years, and what were you doing overseas?
Oh, overseas, man. My educational career took me over there. My prowess from my profession. I was in the States kind of feeling burnt out on my profession a little bit. And I felt that I had to add something to my life within my profession to make me feel like it was all worthwhile once again. So I started to look at overseas opportunities to broaden my horizons professionally, culturally, and all those aspects that, they said that a guy like me wouldn't be able to do, So that definitely fueled my fire.
So where was your first international experience?
My first international experience as far as educationally was Doha, Qatar. Qatar, whatever you want to pronounce it. I'm sorry for the mispronunciation for my friends out there. Get me right. Help me out. But for sure, that was my first experience. I didn't know much about the country nor the city, but I was willing to take a chance, So that's what kind of had me going out there. I had someone speak of it before in their conversations about teaching abroad of the many places that you could go and that were available to you. So that jumped out at me. And I wanted to see what it was and get over the whole culture shock and just go out on a limb, man, and see what it was out there for me.
Man, that's what's up, man. Kudos to you for doing that, man. And then, that little experience, that will, that ambition to do that really, really change your life and help shape your overall perspective. And we're going to get into that. Man, so you're originally from San Diego, but you're living in Atlanta right now. So let's talk about, bam, you go from the ATL, jump on a plane, go 15-hour flight across the world, and you land in the middle of the Persian Gulf in a desert. What you thinking, man? What you thinking?
Hey, man, listen, I'm a risk taker, man. Always have been, always will be. Now that I'm older, the risks are way more calculated. So, but I'm still willing to go out there on a limb, man. I went out there on a limb to get from San Diego to Atlanta, coming to Morehouse College. And that's a whole nother story. So going from Morehouse College really, really opened my eyes to even have the mindset of thinking globally. I would say that. So with me coming out there, getting on that plane, hitting that British Airways to the Turkish Airways, and stopping at the Ataturk, I believe, airport where they had just had a bombing, like maybe not even a month before. I had to dig deep. You got to show heart. It was something that I felt like in the end, God willing, that I saw my destination, that it was going to be something that I could flourish with, man.
Man, that's what's up, man, and credit to you again for taking those risks, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Some of it is having self-confidence in yourself with the ability to know, like, okay, like you said, I'm gonna be able to whatever's happening, I'm gonna be able to manage it. I'm gonna be able to take advantage of it. I'm gonna be able to do my thing. So, but then you also had this like vision of ambition of just seeking knowledge, right? Just trying to absorb new culture, have a new experience, and take your profession with your background in education and see how you can leverage that in the entire world and somewhere like
Right,
Qatar. You know what I'm saying? So credit
right,
to you again, man. So you're back in
right.
the A right now, right? And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
what are you doing right now?
Oh, yeah, I'm out here in Atlanta, Georgia. The 30 South, man. It's going down. We're out here. I serve now as an instructional support coach. It's definitely a fulfilling job. I work for the YMCA of Metro Atlanta, and it's the largest nonprofit organization in the United States. I work for the early learning department, where we do language and literacy for preschool, pre-K children, and I support teachers in providing the greatest strategies to help their children become more literate at an early age and have a good grasp on effective communication. In other arenas, children of our persuasion and our distinction may not have that level of education provided to them at such a young age. And I'm glad to be a part of that. It's big for me. It's just another fulfilling stop on my ultimate goal to become full-time administrative in the educational realm. So it's like entry level administration. And I'm just on my way up, but I'm enjoying my time where I'm at right now for
Man,
sure.
man, man, man. Hearing you say this is just giving me chills, man, because I myself, I'm a teacher as well. And I just got kind of thrown into it, man. But then once I got there, I kind of realized how big of a impact I can make through teaching. And just to hear
Yes,
you
sir.
speaking like that, you know what I'm saying? I realize your potential, you know what I'm saying? Because let's face it, you know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of black men, African American men in the teaching profession. And our communities are the ones that need to see that the most, you know what I'm saying? So having yourself like someone like yourself or myself, them seeing them in the classroom, like properly in the classroom, not just like, you know what I'm saying, showing up and doing this as security guard or the PE teacher. No, you're teaching them literacy. You're teaching a young kid how to read, and he or she is going to use that skill for the rest of their entire life.
I'm fully invested on the foundations of learning to read. Um, Literacy or lack thereof, illiteracy is something that's big in our community. So I just want to combat that every day with what I do. That's how I feel that I can touch my people, in an arena where we've been ostracized and alienated from. All we seek is some type of equity. And I feel like being an effective communicator through being literate, through having a grasp on what it is you're saying, what it is you're trying to convey in an effective manner, you give it to a child at a young age, they're going to blossom with that. And I feel that's going to take our next generations further and further in this global game.
Man, that's
So,
that's deep, man. That's deep. That's deep. And you and I both grew up in like public schools, you know what I'm saying? So we kind of see how it's kind of like woven stuff like that, like it's kind of almost like just like a exercise utility, you know what I'm saying? You go to school, you sit down in class, you get the grades, you do the test, you get your diploma, and it's kind of like, but are we really learning anything? You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like, what skills have I've taken from my public education system and transfer that into my own profession. I had to learn all these skills
Right,
on the fly, you know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
And
right.
that led to me to an ultimate goal of becoming a lifelong learner, always trying to seek knowledge.
Hey man, with that, I commend your dedication to that, because you could have easily said, this ain't for me, because this ain't something that the average man just absorbs on the fly. So for that, I commend you for sure, because jumping into that and letting that be, that's a new realm for you. And to take that on at the point in your life where you took that on, and to be where you're at with that right now, that's nothing but, your heart was in that before you even started,
Yeah.
you
So
know.
yeah. So let's talk about your experience internationally teaching abroad, how that has helped you get through some of the kids that are in our community? You know, like what did you learn from that experience, and how are you applying that going forward?
Right. Well, I believe growing up in San Diego gave me a global perspective within my own environment. So I was taught to be tolerant of differences at a young age. And that's something that I feel like going abroad opened up even more, because I was now submerged deeply into an entire culture that was definitely abstract from mine in that sense. So being willing to absorb that and see where I fit in within that culture, just that assimilation and absorbing and deflecting certain things from the culture, you know what I mean, as well as staying true to myself, you know, as an educator. So when I see these kids come into my classroom, I have just as much desire for them to succeed as I would people from my own community. And that's global for me. That's where I felt like, okay, this translates no matter where I go. I don't care. Like I see the child who's in front of me, and I want that whole child to flourish, not just socially, but you know, emotionally. You know what I mean? How you doing today? You know, just being a people person. Just that, I think that's gotten me far. And being in another place around other people was a great thing for me, man. So coming back to Atlanta, I felt like it's just like full circle. You know what I mean? So the mission is the same, but it's full circle. Here I am back with my community, man, and I'm gonna give it all I got for sure.
Wow. Okay, man. That's really, really deep, man. That's really, really deep. So if you had to stack them up, right? We have an
Yeah,
international school, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Right here on the right. And of course, different, I have teacher friends all across the world, in Asia and China and Mexico and South Africa, all over the world, right? And
shout out all y'all.
yeah, and each school is different. Each international school is different, right? Based
Right.
upon the actual school, the administration, the culture, the country, the governing bodies, right? But if we stack this up on the right side, and we put like your average, you know, middle school, say in Southwest Atlanta, all right?
Mm.
How are these two things different?
There are several different dynamics that make that whole thing go. There's no one catalyst. Well, there may be an overlying catalyst for all of that. If you want to compare, if you say a Southwest Atlanta middle school to a middle school abroad, you have to look at the structure outside of the school system. And a lot of times that can tell you the story as to how these schools perform, um, or the lack of performance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Socioeconomic factors are very, very big. So there are things that fall under that umbrella that you have to address in order to just to get to some semblance of an equitable standpoint, right? So Doha and Atlanta, two different dynamics, right? So Southwest Atlanta, let's look at what Southwest Atlanta represents. It represents inner city, if you will. All the ills and perils that come with that outside of the schoolhouse may have some type of adverse effect within the classroom. Therefore, you may have teachers who are reluctant to go teach in an environment like that, who have maybe the best insights, the creativity and the innovation to bring a new way of teaching to students that they might be receptive to and help them to recognize who they are themselves. They may want to go somewhere where it's a little bit more cushy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They may want to go somewhere where they feel as though they're going to get something out of their career, or it's more fulfilling over here, you know? So with that aspect, I think you have a lot of the stories to be told with the dynamic outside of the school in any city, USA, in any country, because everything's not cream of the crop, and a lot of time education gets swept under the rug in a lot of societies.
I saw a video, man. Well, why don't we just go ahead and play this video? Because I want my audience to see this video right here of you actually in your element, you know, describing exactly what's going down in your classroom and the importance of what you're doing in your classroom.
Hey man, early bird get the worm, late bird misses turn. In here in the good old steam room, man. They ain't gonna show you this on the news. Science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. A black man, myself, came up in here and put this together for our young black and brown impressionable minds to go ahead and provide them with some information they may or may not have been privy to in any other arena. Dig that. Now, I got my specifically geared and engineered design tables for the large group, whole group, small group, you name it. Got my good print-rich information on my rugs. I got my good maker space going on over here, connectors, gears, pulleys, perpendicular blocks, lab coats, so your son or daughter can envision themselves wearing this as their career attire every day. You feel me? When you working and you doing your talent, you don't feel like you're going to work. So look, it's going from Flintstones to Jetsons real quick out here, man. If you can't ride that wave, somebody gonna get left behind. I'm making sure mine don't. So look, do your thing, man. Go ahead and open up your mind, man, and provide your son or daughter the opportunity to be exposed, man. Give them some exposure. You know what I mean? They can be the architect. They can be the scientist. They can be the engineer. They can learn the engineering design process and not be stuck on simple hypothesis and scientific method. They go deeper than that. And I'm here to tell you, from the streets to the schoolhouse, it's your Southeast educator extraordinaire, man. Get with me.
So now you're using a particular type of curriculum that is kind of precise and pinpoint. You want to talk about this STEM program and the importance of skills-based education?
Absolutely, I'll touch on that. Well, with the YMCA of Metro Atlanta, it's kind of like the flagship for the nonprofit. The programs that we have are state-of-the-art modern programs for children birth through 5. So with that, we've taken STEM, as you know, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We've added an A to not neglect the arts. So when we're doing all the things that STEM involves, we actually add the A and make sure arts are fully represented as well. Just for a creativity standpoint, because we're living in a world where creativity reigns supreme, and the arts are definitely to be included in something in that. So with that, kid-friendly experiments, definitely moderately challenging because we want to push them. You know, you don't want to make it, we're not setting the bar low at all, you know, because we have to jump higher. You know, we have to run faster. You know, we have to think smarter. So definitely a moderate challenge just to begin with, as far as these levels of experimentation. The scientific, you know, the design process, you know, just engineering for sure, you know, that part of thing, I want to push that, because that's where it's at, you know, as the world expands, it's going to take architecture. It's going to take just having that mind that thinks outside the realm of the typical person who went to school. So, you know, that's thinking globally for sure. You know, this world is closing in on us.
Anything else you want to talk about as far as like any future project or what's going on next?
Oh man, like I said, where I'm at right now, just being an instructional support coach, I have aspirations to rise administratively. I feel as though I have a lot to offer strategically, from a train of thought to where I can maintain a school environment that's healthy for all students. And I think I'm ready for that at this point in my career, man. You know, I put my time in, paid my dues. Feel as though my resume is going to speak for itself. So I bided my time and still give it to the kids 110% every day, just on another level. You know, that's where I'm at with it. You know, gotta make it fulfilling for all parties.
Absolutely, and that's real, and that's real.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
that's
for
real.
sure.
I mean, you deserve it, right? Because you
For sure,
you have
for
put
sure.
in the time, the effort, the experience. You know what I'm saying? You have taken, you know, a lot of stuff that you know as experience that maybe some other people wouldn't have. You've been beating down, you know, the road, man. So yeah, you know, just best of luck to you, brother. Why don't you shout out your social media, man, and let people know where they can find you.
Oh man, you can find me at that's S dot E dot Caliente, Kaliente on Facebook, man. That's me. You know,
yeah.
That's me.
We're gonna circle back, man. Hopefully we'll have you on now. So what's real quick? So how are you guys handling this COVID situation with kids in the classroom? Are you guys doing blended learning or?
Yeah, there is a hybrid situation we have going on. Every other day, a class will come. So two separate groups of teachers, two separate groups of students. Building is deep cleaned every day. All safety precautions are taken. Gloves, masks, you name it. We provide masks of kids coming in that don't have one. Just keeping the social distance thing going. There aren't even like two classrooms next door to each other like that, you know. So it's just taking every precaution we can, just even on a hybrid level. Half the week is in person, half the week is remote. So
you know, it's funny. Well, it's not really funny, but you know, you people now, since the lockdown and since kids have been learning from home and parents have to be more involved with their kids, are realizing the importance of, you know, what we do as teachers, you know, and the fact
now they hear us.
Parent teacher conference it was always us, you know, but now they see their son or daughter behind the camera,
right,
and, you know, taking shortcuts and stuff. So
right. Hey, we weren't lying.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. Best of luck to you, man. Everything, man, and just keep doing what you're doing, brother. And yeah, let the chips fall where they may. But you're definitely making a lot of stuff happen, man. And I appreciate you, man.
Hey, man, hey, got big shoes to fill, man. Following your footsteps, man. Keep on going. We're gonna both smash through this thing together, man, and really, really get to where we need to be so we can make a bigger impact, man. Think Global. I want to thank you guys for having me. I'm honored, man. And until next time, baby, keep it going.